Go ahead. Try again.
I don't want to.
Dare you. You were in the midst of that song. And I would walk 500 miles.
Nope, I was not doing that.
Oh, well, I mean, that's kind of what it sounded like you guys were doing in the midst of your not quite an effective or productive session. So I was trying to fill in the gaps.
So last session we had left off um, after trying to figure out what was going on with a murder, and then we found a fake hat. So we started off with that this session and started following the fake hat down the alley and through the roads of town.
So it was less 500 miles and more over the hills and through the woods. The fake cat house we go.
It was very vague, so I'm not really sure how far we went.
Gotcha.
But we went some distance and made it to some catacombs. I picked open the lock and we went in, and then we went down into the catacombs where we found a room that split off into two different directions. And so we sat there and tried to figure out which direction we should go. And eventually we decided to go one direction. So we went that direction. And then we decided, or we went down that direction after figuring out what kind of things we needed to leave behind so that we could safely, make sure there was nobody coming behind us and blah, 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 blah. And then we go down the tunnel and we get to the end.
Secret tunnel?
And I peek inside. Huh?
Through the mountain?
No, into the tunnel of the catacombs.
Oh.
And so I peek inside of the room at the end of the tunnel, and there are these two floating creatures and two giant bug-like creatures, and that's basically all that happened.
Okay. I'm glad Sunday was a lot more exciting.
My goodness. Like, literally, I was playing Minecraft. That's how bored I was.
I mean, that's not really out of the ordinary for you, Masters. Let's be honest here.
It has. I haven't. This is the first time I've logged into Minecraft in over 6 months.
Substitute any game you like. It's not really something out of the ordinary for you,
I
Master.
have not played a video game on my computer in over 6 months.
What about Battlefront 2? Last month.
Other than Battlefront 2. And that was only with you guys. I have not played by myself. And also Jedi Fallen Order.
So I don't know why I'm in like a song reference mood tonight, but I really am.
There's it's my hard. Horse.
What an interesting exclamation.
Well, last time I logged in, I could not find my horse anywhere.
Where's the horse?
I found my horse. It was precisely where it should have been. I just couldn't find it last time.
Okay.
Anyways, continue.
Oh, man. I was just saying that Sunday was really fun. I'm glad we got to play and kill everything. Except for the one witch.
Yeah, except for the one person. I was like, really? We're gonna murder everything except for this one person.
We are definitely
okay, fine.
We're definitely only saving her until we finish everything else. Like that, it is inconceivable that this group of people is not going to come back and kill the witch. Right?
I mean, we'll see what we run into.
Micro wasn't there. If Micro had been there, we would have killed the witch.
That's probably true.
Micro might be there next time. We're killing the witch.
Micro may never be there again.
You know something that I don't?
Not really,
Oh,
but a little bit more than you do, but
what do you know?
nothing worth sharing.
Oh, I mean, I'm curious. I want share. Please share. I want to know.
It's personal stuff that
Oh,
should come from him.
oh, really? Oh crap! Thursday was fun. You
What
were,
was Thursday? Oh yeah, I was there for some of it. I left before you came in.
yeah, that was a good idea. I
It was. I went back and listened to it. Your timing was so horrible.
what on the song? Masters.
What?
I asked you a question.
What did you ask me?
You said my timing was horrible, and I said, what, on the song?
Yes, on the song.
It's the best I could do, you know? And to me, it sounded right.
It was very much not.
Well, perhaps you'll have to show me how I can do better. Because
I have no idea how you can do better. I know
then
that you can, though. I have heard better.
I
You may. I don't know the
was it
circumstances. You may
my
have been.
timing or was it Ducky's? Let's be very clear on this one.
It was yours.
Really,
Yes. And whatever you did to edit hers in there was, yeah.
I took a blank audio file that she sent me and I edited it in and I balanced it out so that it would be roughly the same volume as mine, which was rather
Yeah, well,
difficult because she didn't really maintain a consistent volume throughout at all. But
that's just due to her setup, I'm sure.
okay,
I don't
but
know.
I know you can't criticize her right now, but I can, Dad Frank. I'm going.
I can criticize her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just have nothing to say.
What did you think of Gary Scoops?
I liked the voice.
It's the second worst voice I've ever come up with.
Second worst, I loved it.
Um, I'm glad you like it. If Brasorius goes down on Tuesdays, if we ever have another Tuesday, if Brasorius goes down on Tuesday, I'll use my worst one ever. I've already decided. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. It's gonna be horrific, and I'm gonna love it every second of it. Everyone else is gonna hate me, but I'll be happy. That's the main thing.
Yeah, everybody else already hates you.
That's fair. So Sass sent me over a couple things that he apparently would like us to discuss, and I think it could be. I mean, it's going to be terrible. Let's be honest. But so
I'm down.
all
He sent
right.
me a lot of videos this week too.
Oh, he didn't. This one's not a video. He sent me an article.
Okay.
Okay. So you're aware?
Speaking of an article,
Yes.
I have ordered a set of I think they're called skin deep cards.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look. I want to say that they're called skin deep cards. But anyways, they are conversation starters.
Okay.
Um, and they should be here eventually. Um, but I think those will be fun to play around with. The sets that I ordered are for generations, families, kids, and couples.
Is your
We should
intention
totally do some out of the couples.
is your intention to try and fill space in the podcast with these?
No, I bought these for other reasons, but
Oh,
it would be probably fun.
okay.
But
That's
also it could be that.
uh-huh. Are we allowed to discuss duck hunting yet or no?
No.
Okay. Figured I'd ask because I'm curious for all the wrong reasons. Um,
I'm sure you are.
um. Anyway, topic from SAS. Are you aware that apparently Pepe Le Pew is now canceled?
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear about the response to Pepe Le Pew being canceled?
No.
It's
I heard
topical.
the I heard the response about Speedy Gonzalez. They were trying to cancel him,
Yeah,
and Gabriel Iglesias was like, "Screw you guys."
he's our mouse. You can't have him. You guys can take
Well,
Mickey.
Gabriel Iglesias is voicing him.
Oh, yeah. It'd be kind of, I mean, that he has a vested interest. I heard that there was like a general kind of like, go screw yourself kind of response because people are generally proud of the fastest mouse in Mexico, and I thought that was hilarious. Um, which I love. But there was some pushback, which I think is particularly topical to this podcast because now that Pepe Le Pew is being canceled for things, people are wondering how long it's going to be before Miss Piggy gets canceled because of
Um,
her rampant, as I quote from this article, sexual harassment and domestic violence towards Kermit the Frog.
no, she's too big of a feminist for them to cancel her.
Uh, I'm just throwing it out here, like
I am too.
like one of her most famous things to do is to whack, like literally, hurry, yeah, and whack him with a bag. I mean, that's domestic violence, man. Serious problem.
Yeah, but show the tail or whatever the thing was that they did on that one show.
That's very specific.
Uh, well, the Muppet ABC Muppet one,
Okay, what about it?
um, where they tried to shame her for having the pigtail.
Who cares? That I don't forget things that I've seen. That was so inconsequential. I forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so let's talk about Ryan the Last Dragon, because apparently this is going nowhere. Uh,
So how'd you like it?
uh I give it like a 6.5.
Yeah.
Like I would probably watch it again at some point, but it's not going to be like my first pick probably ever. I am getting closer now to pinning down precisely what Disney's new formula is. Because there is the Pixar formula where Pixar has basically only ever made one movie since 1996. They just changed the characters and the setting.
Mm-hmm.
Disney is starting to do this, and I think Tangled was kind of their first foray into it. Um,
Okay.
with specific occurrences. So they all kind of follow with the general like Cinderella is kind of the first archetype of it, but they have made a couple of very distinctive changes to the formula. So Cinderella has, she's living kind of a tough life. We're not really sure. I mean, and they explain like why that is. And then there's a potential opportunity to better the life, and she meets the fairy godmother, and the fairy godmother helps her uh, do that. Well, the Disney formula, as I'm seeing it, is you have um, protagonist with obviously unpreferable, unfair circumstances. So in Raya, okay, first five, okay, I guess not the first 5 minutes, but very early on in the movie, Dad, for all intents and purposes, as far as we know, dies. which I'm like, another casualty in the long line of Disney parents. Apparently her mother's already dead, because we hear no mention of her whatsoever at all, unless we're to assume that that the people in the land of Raya just like pop up out of the ground like dwarves are suggested in Lord of the Rings, which would be interesting. But I don't. We never got any lore on that, so I'm assuming it still works the traditional way. So, protagonist, crappy life, usually missing one and or both parents. Tangled gets kind of around this by having them both still be there, but she doesn't realize that, and the one who's around is just the worst kind of human being.
Mother knows best.
Mother knows best. That's a great song. Probably like number 3 in terms of best villain songs from Disney. Maybe number 4. Although what number 3 would be if that's not number 3, I'm not sure what it is. Anyway. So some extra catastrophe happens. They have to do something. They have impetus to leave. So that kind of correlates a lot with the Pixar formula, where something happens and they have to leave their home, their domicile, their dwelling, whatever the case might be. Then they somewhere along the way, either as the inciting event or shortly thereafter, they meet someone who is less than spectacular at what they're supposed to be doing. So with Entangled, this is Flynn Rider. In Princess and the Frog, it's Prince Naveen, because he's just kind of a go-lucky, fly-by-the-seat of your pants kind of guy. In Raya, it ends up being Sisu. Yes, that is the correct name. It's like, oh, I found the legendary dragon, who's like, I can swim. You do anything else? Nope. Do you have any function to life other than swimming? Not at all. Great. This is gonna go swimmingly. Pun intended. Then they, happen into a couple other minor characters who help out to some extent or another. Entangled. This is the bar full of guys. In Prince and the Frog, it's the alligator and the firefly and the crazy old witch in the swamp. In Frozen, it's Olaf and Sven. Or is Olaf actually the guy who doesn't quite get anything right? He could be that one too. Anyway, that notwithstanding, then they kind of stumble through, and there's some sort of big betrayal moment. Everything builds up towards some sort of major thing. So in Tangled, it's when Flynn Rider apparently sails away on the boat. In the Princess and the Frog, it's when the best friend kisses Naveen and nothing happens, and there's this big sad moment. And then in Raya now, it's the death of Sisu when she gets shot by the character who was voiced by Gemma Chan, because I remember her name a lot better for no reason. Are you having difficulties over there, Masters?
I'm having hiccup issues.
Okay,
I'm fixing it. It's fine.
Alrighty. Anyway, so all this leads into some crescendo. The main character has some sort of moment of personal realization. They go, oh, an aha moment. Oh, I am the lost princess. I could be the princess all along. And Princess and the Frog, and in Frozen, it's a moment of self-sacrifice where she thrusts herself in front of Elsa. Oh, and the sword breaks in the cold. Oh, that's totally would have just cut right through her. That's so fine. Don't worry about it. In this one, it's like, oh, well, I can just trust you and just hope for the best kind of thing, even though I have no reason to do so whatsoever. We need to wrap this up. It's already burning for 2 hours. We're kind of, over our Disney time limit. And then everyone just quietly accepts their fate. sure, no problem, we're all gonna die. And somehow that moment works. It solves all the problems, no big issues, tears fall from
I
Rapunzel.
I really wish that when they became statues, that they would not have changed back, but the dragons would have come back. Like how the first time the dragons sacrificed, so all the dragons stayed stone, but all the humans came back. So I wish it would have been a reverse where those five stayed stone, but then everybody else came back and they became a monument for uh,
Everyone,
peace.
yeah. I think that would have been an incredibly, just immeasurably more powerful thing to have happen.
I thought you would have liked that. Everybody else
Yes.
I've said that to has said that was stupid.
No, that's great. Like, I want weight and consequence in my movies.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you killed Sisu. Okay, she's dead. Let's move on. Oh,
Yeah.
she's back by magic and dragons. Yay. Also, so very good voice acting all throughout Raya, except for Sisu. Oh, good lord. I can't deal with that voice. We've had this conversation about how someday there will be the next future Mrs. Sasquatch. That voice is like anything like that in that general range. Automatic disqualifier. No. No. Absolutely not. I refuse. I don't even know what accent that is, but whatever it is, no. Let's do it in Greek. Meganoita. That is
When's
actually
your German coming, by the way?
German.
Or was it Russian?
I haven't looked at Russian in almost a year. But if you must know, niet. Oh man. So I don't know what it was about that voice. It was just grating on me every time she spoke, and it's almost like it's it's almost like she's high, but she's not, and you know she's not, and it's like that's just how she sounds, and you're like, man, why?
Yeah, we know you have issues.
I do have issues, and who did she beat? Like, who who was it that didn't get the part because they gave it to her? I want an answer to this question. It's definitely not ever going to be an answer I'm going to get, but I want to know who flubbed their what's the word?
Audition?
Their audition. That's the one. Who flubbed their audition so
My
badly?
goodness.
You know, like I actually did just look this up. Why isn't Sisu voiced by Ming Na Wen? Like, why not? Disney has her under contract for so many other things. They should have just been like, "Oh, we have her. Let's do it." You know who Ming Na Wen is, Masters?
I'm 99% sure I do. The sniper in Mandalorian.
That's correct. She also played Mulan in the.
And she also played the cavalry in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
This is correct. Like I said, they have a track record. She's under contract. She probably doesn't leave the studio all that much to be like, hey, can you stick around for 3 hours or something after you finish?
Actually, this entire movie was shot or was animated and everything remotely. Did you not read that
No.
at the end?
No.
Yeah.
Did I care? No. Can nobody send her a $300 microphone setup like I have and be like, hey, just send us back the files?
She probably already has one.
I'm removing all barriers to entry in the highly unlikely possibility that she does not have a microphone at her house. Come and be like, okay, we're gonna send you the stuff. Just send us back files. It'll be great. Thank you.
It'll be great.
Yeah,
It'll be the greatest.
I think Kelly Marie Tran did a pretty good job as Raya. I really liked her vocal performance. I didn't really feel like they gave her that much of a script to work with. Oh, that's who else isn't here. Darn it. Oh, and Tuk Tuk was Alan Tudyk. I knew it. Ha! He plays all their animals now. He plays all their animals. Why wasn't Dante Basco in this movie? Like, they couldn't find anything for Dante Basco. I don't care!
Did you know that he plays the American Dragon and Jake Long?
Yes, I know he plays the American Dragon and Jake Long. I am a huge Dante Basco fan. Like, massive Dante Basco fan. And it's like, oh, well, why would we do
Prince
that?
Zuko.
Yeah, he plays Prince Zuko. He also plays Mako in... Not Mako. Not Mako. No, it's what is this? What's his name? I mean, he's Rufio.
Oh yeah, Rufio. Oh, I forgot it was Rufio.
Yeah. Oh, what does he play in Legend of Korra? He's like 4 or 5 different characters. No, he does a couple voices in Star Wars Rebels. Who does he do in Legend of Korra? Come on. Oh, General Iroh.
No, the door's just skinny. He plays General Iroh. Oh,
in Legend of Korra.
You're right.
In Legend of Korra, yeah.
You're right. He does.
I was like, no, not Mako. Like, why? It's not. Is it Iroh? It can't be Iroh. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I have this thing up here. But like, yeah.
I mean, he also plays Zuko.
Yeah, which makes sense. Except I don't think he plays Zuko in Legend of Korra.
Pretty sure he does.
That'd be impressive. No, he does not. Who plays Zuko? That's actually a good question. Who does play Zuko?
Bryce Davison.
Bryce Davison. No idea. He's not as cool. Okay, plus, there's like half the people who are in Raya have overlap with Legend of Korra. They couldn't get any of these people to be like, I mean, just call your buddy. Call your buddy. Oh, that's actually cool. I didn't realize that Kuvira was Zelda Williams. That's awesome. John Michael. He did Varric and what else?
Google, why would I want you to translate this to German?
Probably because you mentioned German at one point.
It literally just asked me if I wanted to translate all of this into German. It's like, no, I want to be able to read it.
I don't know. Oh, he was the Scorpion in Ultimate Spider-Man? I haven't seen that. I need to see that. Like, seriously, Raya, Last Dragon. Why is Dante Basco not in this film? I feel like we were cheated. There was an opportunity here, and we missed it. Not that other people didn't do great, but like, nobody? Wait a second. Oh, that's actually really funny.
What?
So, the guy who plays Wong in the MCU, Doctor Strange's sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Benedict Wong. So, he is Wong playing Wong.
It's so Wonged.
It's the first time they got the Wong actor to play the right part. Monkey would appreciate that joke. He does have a really distinctive voice, though. I like it. Yeah, so many great opportunities, and they just kind of like, we'll just throw somebody in here. No Dante Basco, no Ming Na Wen. I'm disappointed.
I noticed.
What's that meme? You know, we were on the cusp of greatness, and right there, right before, we blew it. Replace the kid. Put Dante Basco in there.
No.
Did he actually do anything? Like, did the boat kid actually do anything other than provide a boat?
He cooked for them, and he came up with a really awesome plan that they didn't use.
I feel like this is again
And
messed
then
up.
he also helped save the village.
Save the village. Which village? Oh, you mean the Fang city?
Yeah.
Okay. When you said save the village, I had this cut in my mind to Chevy Chase standing in front of a very angry Mexican um bandito trying to pass himself off as Mexican as he's like going down the list of all his subordinates, and he says, and Jose, and you go Chevy Chase like, Jose, we burned the village, and I'm not going to continue with it from there because Chevy Chase's character started to lose it and just started saying a bunch of random stuff that doesn't quite work out, and of course he gets caught. It's great. Three Amigos. People should definitely watch that movie if you haven't. I would.
Haven't.
You should watch that movie, Masters. It is so good. It
You
is.
say that about a lot of movies.
Name one that I've been wrong about.
I don't know. I haven't watched any of them.
I rest my case. Um, you might have a better quality of life if you listen to me more, Masters.
I highly doubt that.
I mean, you don't know. You have no point of reference because you don't do it.
I'm smarter than that. That's why I don't have any point of reference.
I mean,
Gonna sit there and laugh at yourself?
I'm posting memes from Three Amigos now. Leave me alone. The one in question here is like he finds Chevy Chase. He's got a gun pointed on him. He says, "What is this? Are gringos just falling from the sky?" And then Martin Little or Martin Short falls from the sky, and I'm like, "Yes, El Jefe, they are falling from the sky." It's just deadpan. Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what is totally improbable. That just happened. How could you not love the Three Amigos? It's so good. Ah. I feel sorry for you, Masters. Such great moments of culture that you're missing out on.
I don't know. I've met you, so pretty sure I'm okay.
In fairness, this movie is not what messed me up. I can tell you what some of those are too.
Uh, I might need that list to be able to avoid them.
Okay, number one on the list: do not ever watch, under any circumstances, for any reason, particularly with your mother, Requiem for a Dream. That would be number one. I mean, it's a fantastic movie. Very well shot, well acted. A triumph of cinema. Never watch that movie. Especially with your mother. Because then you have to have a very long conversation.
What movie?
Requiem for a Dream. It's all about drug usage and people getting addicted to stuff. And
Why would I watch that?
I watched it for the soundtrack, and then I realized, like, oh, that's why that soundtrack is so incredibly dramatic sounding, because they are literally killing themselves with drugs. It's great, wonderful. And then yeah, yeah. I just I mean, not entertaining it, not entertaining at all. Like you're thinking about stuff through the entire film, so it doesn't qualify as an entertainment, in my mind. But also not enjoyable. There are some movies that I've seen which are absolutely fantastic films, but I have no desire to ever see them again. That is either number one or number two, and number two would be, if it's not number one, would be Natural Born Killers. Great movie, wonderfully acted, fantastic dialogue. It's the only film I think I've ever seen where I was physically ill from watching it. And that was just because of the camera work, which was effective as they were trying to put you in the mind of a serial killer. He felt like one through most of it without actually, like, it's the kind of movie that you watch, you just feel dirty. Like, not like, you know, in a raunchy kind of way, but just like, man, I don't like myself watching this movie. So yeah, that was fun.
Oh,
So why is your sister over, or are you over at your sister's?
because we are going to look at houses tomorrow,
Oh, I
and
see.
she was wanting to get away from the kids.
Fair. Now, please take this entirely the wrong way.
I usually do.
But is she the one you should be taking to look at houses?
Well, the other one is working, so
Hmm. That doesn't answer the question, actually.
I mean, she'll probably be over there just as often as anybody else that doesn't live there.
Well, that is the qualifier right there. Does versus do, or might, could, possibly, future, will, shall. That I think is the qualifier.
Those were a lot of words.
And they all bear, and I think they were all very, very valid words to use. Because, I mean, hey, you're talking about bringing someone who ain't gonna live there to be like, hey, help me pick this place out. Are you sending pictures to potential people who might live there at some point in the future and being like, hey, this one has a great backyard, and being like, no, I don't like this, that, and the other kind of thing? Or just like letting it happen, hoping for the best.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, not going to get into it.
Okay. So let's talk about how I'm probably gonna get um taken out of ministry at my church.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, after you sent me that, I went back and watched it and listened to it. And I know how I reacted in the moment,
Uh-huh.
but oh my goodness, I didn't realize how accurate my reactions were.
So for point of reference to everyone else, I got a text message from one of my pastors who's like, hey, can you send me a link to your podcast? I want to listen to it. Now, as it turns out, actually, I'll tell you that in a second. It's more fun if you don't know that part yet. Um, so I'm like, I would really rather not. Particularly because after last episode, after a 15-minute rant with sound effects and descriptions and adventure roleplay about boobs.
You did, in fact, go on an adventure roleplay, climbing through the Amazon.
I'm like, how do I avoid sending that in particular?
And I have been told to inform you that it's not that big of an issue, actually.
I'm curious
But
who said that.
specifically the Amazon rainforest scenario.
I'm curious who said that. I'd like to remind my co-host that there is a chat, so that in case he doesn't want to tell me directly in a loud auditory thing where other people could hear, he can send it directly to me, and I will react without naming the person. I have a pretty good idea who said that, but I want confirmation before I make my next joke. Okay.
There.
Gotcha. I mean, the joke would kind of go that, well, everything is relative. But although that doesn't do a very good job of expressing it. You see, here's the thing. That person is only able to get a bird's eye view perspective on the situation.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I regret everything. I've been asked several times this week why I'm friends with you, and now I'm starting to wonder.
I just realized how many. I didn't mean to, but I just realized how many layers of pun I put into that, and I am so proud of myself.
So many.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
So that was fun. I like how where is it? Yeah. I like how before we started you're like, get all of your boob talk out now. Apparently I did not do that.
You did not.
Well, I mean, there's nobody here to talk to. So, hard to have those conversations with just by yourself. But
I mean, I'm not even gonna say the joke that I just thought of.
Uh-oh. Mash is trying to get himself in trouble too. I thought that was my forte. Anyway, so joyous thing as that was, I was not particularly thrilled about the idea of sending my pastor that episode, or probably a lot of them. So I'm like, okay, the first episode, for some reason or another, is probably the cleanest one. I don't know why I thought that. And
as you go back and watch it,
and I go back and I'm listening to it, like I'm running around at work without any sort of headset, so I have to like be really careful when I have audio playing. And we get 4 minutes in, and there is this just magnificent belch that just rocks your soul. It's so glorious.
It really is.
And I'm like, I hope you feel
one
better.
One of my best in a long while.
And I'm like, man, I hope you feel better. And you're like, what? I wasn't muted? Like, no. So having that happen, I thought for sure this is definitely the episode I need to send to my pastor, because that's as far as he'll get. As it turns out, that was not the podcast they were looking for me to send them.
That makes it even better. Oh my
goodness. They were very interested in my new venture on YouTube, Truth and Value.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is this?
That makes a lot more sense.
But I don't view that as a podcast. I don't know what I think of. I don't even really know what I would classify it as, but I don't think of it as being a podcast.
Oh my word. So did they watch any of the podcast?
I haven't heard. They're like, oh, that's not what we're looking for. And I'm like, okay, here's the one you're looking for. I hope this works out. Let me know. And they liked that. They gave me a lot of very positive feedback, and they gave me a couple things I can work on for future episodes, which I was very thankful for. And and yeah, that was great.
My goodness.
Always make sure you get a clarifying question can really help avoid embarrassment.
Yeah, it really could have. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I guess I didn't need to send you the. I really hope they didn't like start like skipping around. Like, what is this other thing you sent us? Let's open up. Let's open up episode 9 where they're deciding on a new name.
Or let's up
Two guys, one podcast.
27.
What does that mean?
Oh my word! I had forgotten about that.
I hadn't.
I know.
Like that was high on my list of stuff. Like, man, I hope they don't ever see that.
That's glorious.
Yeah, I really should have just had like an intelligent thing going. Oh, when they say podcast, they just mean whatever the Bible thing is that I'm doing, and they will happy with that. No. I had to send them World's Worst Podcast. I'm full of caveats. I'm like, hey, so it's not very good. It's literally just me and my friend having a random conversation. We tell our viewers to not listen to it, watch it, whatever. In any case, we question their sanity, their reasoning routinely. You shouldn't watch it or listen to it or anything. And I'm really hoping that they didn't. But I'll find out tomorrow. Because I'm going to see him tomorrow.
That's funny.
It's gonna be just wonderful. I am my own worst enemy.
You are, yeah.
I make all of my own worst decisions.
You really do. At least admittance is the first step.
I did think about something, and I'm not prepared really to do this because we haven't really had. It's one of those things where we're actually going to have to go back and listen to our own stuff, and I hate doing that. So it's one of those things that's probably fairly likely to not happen. But it might be kind of fun to go back and do kind of a hey, what are some of our favorite moments from the podcast? Like when we get up to a year, like episode 52 or something. Like, okay, we've been doing this a year now. What's our favorite moments of the World's Worst Podcast? I think 4 minutes into the first episode ranks pretty high. Other things,
the epic belch.
It really put us on a great level of expectation for everything that followed from there.
Oh, I'm glad I could assist in that. Oh,
I was just reading Mumbles' update.
Oh, yeah.
Letting him know that I'm okay with Theater of the Mind.
But one thing, he's got to get better at the describing.
Yes, that is a thing. Like, we probably would have killed half as many of his NPCs if he'd have just given us a little bit more explanation. Like, you're all tripping out of your minds, okay? You see 3 harpies. Kill them. We're like, let's do this. He didn't tell us that talking to them was an option. He just told us there was free harpies. We're like, okay, time to kill things.
Yeah.
As opposed to being like, they come furtively out of their cave, curious as to what the strange creatures are currently invading their pond. That would have been enough to be like, okay, maybe we can talk to them. Nope, just kill them. Let's see. What else is going on? Falcon Winter Soldier comes out next week. Bad Batch comes out next week. Really looking for. I am more excited about Bad Batch than I am Falcon Winter Soldier, and then maybe just because I'm more invested in Bad Batch, and I don't really care that much about Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I'm sure I'll become more interested. But like right now, I'm like, if I had to pick. Glad I don't have to, but if I had to pick,
Yeah, picking would be rough, and I would definitely pick Bad Batch without question.
I feel somewhat more invested with those characters already.
Yeah, that's because we've already seen them in an episode.
I mean,
or two.
In fairness, we probably have actually seen Falcon and Winter Soldier with more screen time than any of the Bad Batch, except for maybe Fives.
That's true.
But still, the Bad Batch made more of an impression with their screen time.
Also true.
Yeah. Kind of a thing. Oh, and I was like, I didn't realize that wasn't something you could what's the word? Acronym? All of my vocabulary just left my head. I have problems.
Yeah, you do. And it's not just your inability to speak.
I forget what I was going to say.
That's rare with you.
No, it's not. I forget what I was about to say a lot. I just don't often tell people about it. Particularly when I'm definitely not supposed to do that. Yeah, it's an acronym. That's the word. That is the word. That took me way too long. Theater of the mind.
Mm-hmm.
I was having some. So on Thursday, in the midst of Theater of the Mind. I know you didn't like the song, so screw the song. But when I was playing Gary Scoops, I was having. I felt like I was having some difficulty getting a little bit of pushback from some of the characters, and then Ducky just like shut everything down. He's like, "I am leaning on my sword. I'm going to kill you," and I'm like, "Darn it."
Did they kill you?
No. They threatened to. I feel like I messed up Gary Scoops' chances of actually getting something going by playing Wortley earlier last year. Because Ducky was just having none of it.
Did you do the Wortley thing again?
I mean, so she's playing a princess of a foreign nation, and Gary Scoops is a kobold who are very hypergamous. Who are like they're always trying to raise their social standing. And so he found a princess who was apparently unattached. She said she wasn't there to invade, so he assumed she was there seeking a husband. And he's like, "Well, I'll put my name on the list."
Wow. Wow.
Hey, I didn't create the character.
I need to go.
I just voice him.
You need to go to some sexual harassment seminars.
Oh, don't worry. I know how to do it very well.
That's the problem.
I'm shocked you didn't hear that. Like you said, you watched it back. You didn't hear that part.
I didn't. I listened to the voice. I was looking for the song.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to the voice,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I like that voice, and then I moved on.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, you should have stuck around for what he was doing. Uh, he's a newspaper reporter, and his whole thing is like he dramatically overblows everything, puts out of proportion, mishears, misrepresents everything. So they're like, oh yeah, you know, Ducky's character. Her name is Petchka. She's a princess from a foreign nation. We're being invaded. No, we're not being invaded. Are you sure? She's a foreign princess. Yes, she shows up with his sword. Why are you here to invade us? And yeah, I was having a lot of fun.
I can tell.
Ducky apparently wasn't, particularly when he's like, "Are you here to seek a suitor? If so, can I put my name on the list?" And she
Mm.
that
You have such a way with women.
There's a reason I'm still single.
There are many reasons you're still single.
Like, if I thought it was going to be funny enough, I probably would actually do that voice to a girl in real life, expecting good results. If I thought, I mean, maybe not even expecting good results. If I just thought it was funny enough, I will sacrifice future happiness for a momentary joke. I know. I've seen me do it.
I have no words for you, Gabby.
I mean, I would say I don't either, but I clearly have a lot of words. That's part of my problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to say them in not particularly helpful ways.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right now, I'm trying
I'm
to
starting to see a pattern.
right now I'm trying to figure out what my next song is going to be for Friendly's Thursday campaign, because I got at least one more in me for that as his vampire, and I'm not
Really,
sure.
you're gonna write him another song?
I will. I have at least a month before I have to have that one, so I will do my best. I am working from home next week. I will do my best to get the Laws of Minecraft done.
Mm, I've heard that before.
You have, I know. But I'm going back and forth between Never Enough from Greatest Showman. Um, I will go Sailing No More from Toy Story. I think that one could be good. Really, I could do either that one or When Somebody Loved Me, or When Somebody Loves You from Toy Story 2. But I don't really have any context of anyone ever having loved Taro. So that probably wouldn't work out that well. There's another one I was
Have we
thinking.
talked about your beliefs on the "Never Enough" song on podcast before?
I think we've discussed it. I don't know what you mean necessarily regarding beliefs, but
Like what you think the song is about?
the song is about a lot of things. Like narratively, it works covering like four major story threads all at the same time. Number one, there's the very obvious one where you have kind of this gold digger diva, and she's talking about how she's trying to get all she can from life, and it's never going to be enough. You have a realization moment for P.T. Barnum as he's like, I don't want to be that kind of greedy individual, and it's a great realization moment for him that he is giving up the most important things in his life, his family and his friends and the other members of his show, in order to pursue this dream of legitimacy and acceptance. You have the moment where Carlisle, and I can't remember Zendaya's character's name in that film, but where they're like, I want to spend my time with you, and every moment that we have is never quite enough to make up for what we have. And then I think it's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I'm pretty sure the flow of it goes from never enough into rewrite the stars, which is where he tries to make a play and she's like, this isn't gonna work. um I mean, really, that could work narratively either way, whether it comes from never enough to rewrite the stars or rewrite the stars to never enough, because I don't recall precisely how that, but
It's never enough. Then rewrite.
so I'm doing pretty good. um yeah. Anyway, so those are the three main ones. Is there anything else? All the shine 1,000 spotlights, stars we steal from the night sky.
Towers of gold are still too little. These hands could hold the world, but it'll never be enough.
Yeah, it's not like those are like, are those three not enough? Is it not enough, masters?
You just
Explain.
explained it very poorly last time we talked about it.
I'm sorry.
To where I disagreed with you, and now I'm agreeing with you.
Okay. I have discovered that that is something that I do. Sometimes I'm asked a direct question being put on the spot. I just spew words, and they do mean what I want them to mean, but they don't necessarily mean what I want them to mean in the way that I mean for them to sound. Yes, that was correct. Um,
Um, so did you hear that D&D is getting rabbit folk?
I did hear that D&D is getting rabbit folk and fairies, um, and some form of hobgoblin. And isn't there like a fourth one, or is it just the three?
Well, in the new book that's about to come out, um, we are getting. I assume these are all from the new book
Mm-hmm.
because they're on D&D Beyond. But there is the Dampier, the Hex Blood, and the Reborn.
Okay.
Which a Reborn is what um, Wesley is playing on my Friday night games.
Okay.
Um,
Are those classes, subclasses, or races?
those are races.
Okay. Here, Joe Cat. Races. All the races. I should throw that video in just so other people. Um.
Twitch dot.
Oops. All right, people in the podcast. Didn't mean to blow your ears out with that. Variant alignment, goblins, races. There we go. All right. Anyway, you were saying about Dampier and everything else?
Yeah, I'm just saying that they're going to be in the new. Um,
Is that it? Do you have any details? Any facts?
well, I mean, I can give you details.
Please give details.
What details do you want?
I want to know everything. I want to know
So the
racial
Dampiers
feats.
have a walking speed of 35.
Okay.
They get they get common and a language of their choice. This creature type is both humanoid and undead.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So does that mean that they don't get proper healing, or they can't be properly healed?
no, it specifically says since you are humanoid and undead,
Mm,
Cure Wounds works on you since the spell works for a humanoid.
that's unfair or unfortunate. I think it'd be really fun. The
Um,
only way to
they
heal
they can
yourself.
either be size medium or size small. You get to choose.
Okay.
They have dark vision. They have spider climb,
Okay.
equal to their walking speed. So they can climb. They have a climbing speed equal to their walking speed,
Mm-hmm.
and can move up, down, and across vertical surfaces, upside down along ceilings
Mm-hmm.
while leaving their hands free. And they have vampiric bite. Your fanged bite is a natural weapon, which counts as a simple melee weapon, which you are proficient with. You add your Constitution modifier to the attack and damage rolls, and when you attack with your bite, it deals 1d4 piercing damage. While you are missing half or more of your hit points, you have advantage on the attack rolls you make with the bite.
Mm-hmm.
When you use the bite to hit a creature that isn't a construct or undead, you can empower yourself with one of the following choices. You can either regain hit points equal to the damage you deal,
Mm-hmm.
or you can gain a bonus to the next ability check or attack roll you make. The bonus equals the damage dealt by the die.
Hmm.
Um, you can empower yourself with your bite a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses at the end of the long rest.
Hmm. And this is just using the Tasha system where you just basically pick two ability
Where you,
ability score increases.
yeah, you can do that if you use Tasha's.
Well, I mean, like,
Then,
I brought up D&D Beyond, and it's not saying anything else about their um about how to like apportion points to them. Ability score
what now?
increase. Okay, so damp your traits, right? Your damp your
Oh,
lineage.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. It doesn't say like, okay, you get plus Constitution or plus
Yeah,
this
it
or plus
does.
that. It does.
It says you determine your scores, increase one of those by two, and increase a different one by one.
That's just
So you
Tasha's.
get to, yeah, well, it's not Tasha's. You just get to choose for this creature, like you do for humans. Because in human, you get to choose which ones you increase.
Is it
So
only
this is
cure
just working the same way.
wounds that works on
So
thing?
without Tasha's, you can put a two into something, and you have to put the one into something different. With Tasha's, you can put all three into the same one.
Con this up. um.
Okay. Then there is the Hexblood. Walking speed of 30. Uh, ability score increase 2 and 1. Languages common and one of your choice. You are both humanoid and fey. Um, uh, you choose medium or small. You have dark vision. You have fey resilience, which means that you have advantage on saving throws to avoid or end a charmed condition.
Mm-hmm.
You have Hex Magic, which means you can cast Disguise Self and Hex spells with this trait. Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma is your spellcasting ability modifier. Choose this when you gain the lineage.
Mm-hmm.
Once you cast either of these spells with your trait, you can't cast it until you finish a long rest. You can also cast these spells using spell slots you have.
Okay.
Um, Then magic token. As an action, you can harmlessly pull one of your nails or tooth or a lock of hair. This token is imbued with magic until you finish a long rest. While the token is imbued in this way, you can use an action to send a telepathic message to a creature holding or carrying the token as long as you are in the same plane of existence and are within 10 miles of it. The message can contain up to 25 words. In addition, while you're within 10 miles of the token, you can use an action to enter a trance for 1 minute, during which you can see and hear from the token as if you are located where it is. While you are using this, uh, your senses at the token location, you are blind and deaf. And in regard to your own surroundings, afterward, the token is harmlessly destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Once you create a token using this feature, you can't do it again until you finish a long rest, at which point your missing part regrows.
Hmm. Why,
That's weird.
why am I not seeing like rabbit folk?
Because those are not official UAs yet.
Okay.
These are things that are going to be in the very next book,
Okay.
the ones I'm reading to you now.
Gotcha.
So they're more set in stone. So D&D Beyond has already added them. Uh, when the rabbit folk gets added into an official book, they'll do it like this.
So here's a crazy thought.
Just one?
Yeah. So magic token, 10 miles. You can see, hear whatever it is around this token, whatever it is, right?
Say again?
So within, if you create one of these magic tokens,
Yeah.
you enter the trance. You can see and hear from the token as if you're located where it is.
Correct.
You only do it for 1 minute, but if you were to do so at the right time and see and be able to hear from whatever that token is, would you then be able to remote cast a spell?
No. Yes and no.
Okay.
If the token is within range of your spell, theoretically, depending on your DM,
Mm-hmm.
because you now have you have sight on a location. If your spell range reaches that location, you can cast the spell and then have it be there. But you would have to be within the spell's range.
Gotcha. Okay.
And casting the spell would immediately end the vision.
Gotcha.
So like if you were to break off a tooth and chunk it into a room,
Uh-huh.
and then that's what you're probably thinking, isn't it?
No, I was thinking about actually taking advantage of that 10 miles thing, like sending someone really far away.
Oh
Then,
yeah, that would no,
although
because there's not a spell that goes 10 miles.
although the chunking it into a room thing really brings into perspective a very useful thing where you could do that, chuck it in the room, and then I didn't ask how big the room was. I said I cast fireball.
Right.
I mean, that would be the safe way to do it, not the fun way, but you could do things a lot more safely that way. It would almost feel like a betrayal, though, of your wizardly roots. I still have not played a wizard, although I might be playing a bard if Friendly does the pirate thing for the next couple of weeks.
Actually,
Yeah, I saw.
Pixel posted a thing that apparently you haven't read yet.
I have read it. I haven't responded to it because I haven't had time to like dedicate mind power to it. I was trying to have a conversation with you. Yeah, you know. Don't worry about it.
Well, you can do it while I'm reading this next one.
Okay.
The Reborn. Base walking speed of 30. Increase the ability score, and the languages are the same as the last ones. You are both a humanoid as well as a construct or undead. You choose. Your size is medium or small. You choose. You have dark vision 60 feet. You have escaped death, a fact represented by the following benefits. You have advantage on saving throws against disease or being poisoned, and you have resistance to poison. You have advantage on death saving throws. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe. You don't need to sleep, and magic can't put you to sleep. If you finish a long rest in you can finish a long rest in 4 hours if you spend those hours in an inactive, motionless state during which you retain consciousness. So
Okay.
basically, Warforged.
Gotcha.
Um, and then you have knowledge of a past life. You temporarily remember sporadic glimpses of your past, perhaps faded memories from ages ago or a previous life. When you make an ability check that uses a skill, you add a d6 and add the number rolled to your check. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses once you finish a long rest. And that is what Jared is playing on Fridays.
I should play one of those. And I can't. I mean, considering how quickly my characters die, advantage on death saves. Like, it's almost a meme how quickly my characters die. And when I say almost, I mean it practically.
It absolutely is one, yes.
Yes.
But that's mostly because you make stupid decisions. So
how so? I'm not asking that genuinely. I would like to be a better player. Most of the decisions that have gotten me killed have been like, I'm trying to play a tank and put myself in the midst of everything and tank everything, and then I die. Apparently, that is not the right thing to do.
okay, so let's start at the beginning, okay?
Okay.
So your mistake with your horned fellow.
Poshu. Yes.
That one was.
You're cutting out.
The second one was you trusted your teammate.
Wait. We didn't hear any of the first one because you cut out.
Okay. First one. I was wondering why you didn't laugh. The first one is with Poshu. You trusted your teammate.
Yes.
I blame that Ducky. One wasn't on you. That one was 100% on Ducky.
Yep.
Number two, you trusted your teammate. Again, wasn't technically your fault. Blame that one on Mumbles.
No. The second one was Mishka.
Yeah, I know.
Mishka was Mumbles?
Yeah, he hit you with his hammer.
Oh yeah, he did hit me with it wasn't his hammer. It was like a storm of blades or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, with an AoE. He hit you with an AoE.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then your third one was due to
that was Chef.
Yeah. Oh, your third one was
also due to Mumbles.
Partially due to Mumbles. You instead of just running away, you went after the one guy that was fleeing, which would have been a wise move, but it ended up costing you your life.
that just came down to dice.
Yeah, that really did just come down to dice. Then after that, it was the turtle.
Mm-hmm.
His personality killed him.
That's fair.
Let's see, and then we had
Ellum. No. Technically, the next one who died was Larry. LAR9-E.
Oh yeah, that was due to a poor team dynamic.
Probably the same could be said for whatever his name. The one who followed Larry. And then Ellum.
Yeah. And Ellum was because you tried to do stupid stuff when the normal stuff wouldn't work. Oh, and I talked to Mumbles, and he told me that he never told you that you couldn't blunt the tips of your arrows to shoot them. Remember how I was telling you you should have just broken off the tips of your arrows and shot them?
Yeah.
And you told me that Mumble said that you couldn't do that. I told him about that, and he said I never said he couldn't do that. He said, in fact, that's what I told him he should do.
No. Um, that is not how that went. I will find it. We had a full conversation about this. I don't know if I'm trying to figure out if that was a text conversation or if that was something else.
Do you still have Elam somewhere? Or did you delete him?
I have Elam after a fashion. I have the stat base that he was going to be built into, but I don't have his particular character built up anymore. Because I didn't pay for D&D Beyond on all the extras, so I get 6 slots and that's it. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So this was back in December. He says, "Lol, there are plenty of monsters with immunity to piercing damage when you get on my nerves." And I said, "I have thoughts about that." He said, "I'm sure those are fun thoughts for me." We kind of go back and forth, and I said, "I'll see if there's anything I can do to fix that." He says, "Buy a hand axe," which of course I didn't do. I said, "I think I found a solution. Rather than trying to spring it on you later, here's my proposed solution." I sent him all of my basic stat rundowns for blunted arrows, and then I sent him a video for proof of concept. And then he sends back, "They're double the cost, 2 gold pieces for 20, and twice as heavy. You lose 25% of range." I said that was a lot easier than I thought you would. Than I thought it would be. And he tells me damage modifiers, build times. Then we're talking about mechanics. Yeah. So I said, you're correct. If it is Dex, that would be my misunderstanding. You may note that while I have added the blunted arrow attack to his sheet, I have left the arrows themselves out of his inventory. As I will avoid metagaming and likely wait a bit for him to realize their usefulness, maybe get Hagen and Zonos to collaborate on their invention. Maybe we can RP that if you like. Hagen definitely has the know-how to make them, but he will need to find the metal. And yes, 22 without a critical is max. Yada yada. Other things going on. Yeah. So we talked about the fact that blunted arrows were going to be a thing, but that they weren't going to be a thing yet. And so that's as far as we got with that. So did he specifically say you cannot break the tips off your arrows? No. Did that ever come up as a topic of conversation? Questionable, because there's also a phone call sandwich in the midst of all that. But the whole point of it was that he was going to be put into a position where he didn't have any means to attack anyone.
Yeah, and you were in that position, and I messaged you and said just break off the tip of an arrow, and you said no. Mumble said I couldn't do that.
I suppose in my mind, I was equating our conversation about how we were going to overcome that future situation with him having agreed as that was the only plausible means of dealing with it, short of buying a hand axe.
Yeah, you get too wrapped up in
Specifics.
RP and specifics Yeah, you just don't think about.
Well, I was trying to avoid. I mean, yeah, before we left the town, I could have been like, "Hey, before we go, let's make me some arrows." Yada yada. Well, why would he think to
Or
do that?
no, or just in the moment, just been like, my piercing arrows aren't doing anything. Let's see if I can, you know, do something if I blunt these
In
arrows.
my defense, he was drunk at the time.
And then we could. Well, he's drunk all the time. And then we could have.
Not anymore.
Then we could have RP'd afterwards and been like, "Oh, I see what you did there. Let's see if we can improve on this."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that didn't happen. He's dead.
Yeah, I know.
I'm actually kind of glad that he's dead because this was not the Fenris bow. As much as I loved it, was breaking the whole rest of the campaign, and I'm generally very happy that that is no longer the case. Fair.
Fair.
Okay.
I mean, we all agreed the entire time. Everybody agreed. You agreed. Mumbles agreed that the Fenris bow was a stupid idea and it should have never been in existence.
I was going by the DM. I'm like, hey, do you want me to get rid of this? He says no. Okay, next week, do you want me to get rid of this? No. Next week, do you want me to get rid of this? No. Okay, so if the DM keeps telling me to use it, I'm going to keep using it. And the DM's like, oh, well, I'll just kill you. Okay, fine. I'll make a new character. Then we'll use him to break your game.
Oh my goodness.
And if Resorius dies, I'm bringing my worst character concept of all time to life. Try me.
Oh no. If anybody dies, I'm bringing my worst character concept to life.
What's your
I've
worst?
already told Mumbles what it is, and he wants it so bad.
What's your worst character concept?
A halfling divination wizard with the lucky feet.
Okay. It's not bad.
So basically, I always know what I'm going to roll.
Not bad. I mean, it's game breaking. Mine's not really game breaking. Mine is people breaking.
Yours are always people breaking.
General idea. I mean, it's more fun that way. Why fight a system when you can fight people? Wait.
There are many problems with you, we know.
I am actually really okay. So we talk about these new races that are coming into D&D. Why seriously? Why are there no dog people? We've talked about dog people before. It's not that hard. Like even before Tasha's, it's like okay, you give them like a +1 to con, +1 to wisdom, +2 to con, and then proficiency on perception. Dog person. Ta-da! Like this is not that difficult. Or maybe like give them an innate scrying ability.
That would be cool.
Because I mean, like you know, and
they can cast Scry once per long rest.
Yeah. I mean,
that would be cool.
Think about him as being like like a literal bloodhound.
Interesting.
I think that would be a great species concept. I mean, I also still want to play a Muppet Born, but that's another thing.
My goodness. I showed that to Mumbles.
What did he say?
He was like, yes.
Okay, so in 2 characters. Because if Resorius dies, I'm using my worst concept of all time. And after that, I'm going to bring a Muppet.
So what's your worst concept of all time?
We've talked about this before.
Oh my goodness, no! No! As soon as I got the words out of my mouth, I remembered.
I was working on the voice.
No!
I've been working on the voice. It's so good.
I know! I will murder him outright. I won't even... No chances, just straight up murder.
Oh, I'm so weird. Like,
Soon as I hear the voice, just death.
like,
So go ahead and get your Muppet board ready.
like, come on, Zonas would have a great time. Just ride him.
No.
Just, I was gonna make him a centaur, so you can like ride him around. You know, like, it'd be great.
No. No.
Why not?
No.
Oh man, I think that'd be great fun.
For all of 5 seconds before I kill you, yes.
I'm like, I would like fully commit to the meme where they have the ducks in the park are free, and he would constantly be trying to like pick up random animals and take them with him, despite the fact that he would have such low animal handling it wouldn't even be funny, except it would be hilarious.
Why? Why?
Because I can. That's what this is for.
No.
That is
No.
entirely what D&D is for.
No. If this is how you're going to treat D&D, you're not allowed to anymore.
Oh, come on.
I'm kicking you out of D&D.
Like, you can't tell me that is any worse than most of the stuff that's up on Joe Cat's channel about D&D, a crap guide to D&D.
I don't play D&D with Joe Cat.
I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying, but I mean, it's fairly accurate, a lot of stuff that he's saying. How do you play Warlock?
Yes, it is.
Eldritch Blast. How do you play Wizard? Fireball. I mean,
Just no.
I think that'd be so much fun. Well, here's the thing, Masters. You now have a great incentive to make sure that Brisorius stays alive.
Not really. I've told you my plan. You that voice comes out of your mouth, your character's dead.
It'd be worth it.
He had a demon inside of him.
He'd be a paladin, so that could be kind of fun. I actually want to do this. Can't imagine what you have. I mean, you have no fun in your soul, Masters, and usually I'm the one who's told he doesn't have any fun in his soul.
No, what you want to do is not fun for anyone.
It's incredibly fun for me.
This is why you're single.
It's another reason why I'm single.
Mm-hmm.
Here
We're going to start writing a book.
all the reasons Gabby's single.
Yes.
I mean, it would not be a short book, that's for sure.
Indeed.
Thank you to Michael Caine for having that awesome line that we can describe precisely my reasoning.
Yes.
I just want to watch the world burn.
So, did my stress test yesterday.
Oh, that's fun. Maybe.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't pleasant.
What'd they do to
I
you?
have heart palpitations.
Okay.
I
mean, not okay, but okay.
I could see them on the EEG.
Mm-hmm.
Is it EEG or EKG?
EKG is electrocardiogram, so that's heart. EEG is neurons in your brain.
Okay, so EKG.
Yep.
So the good news is I have a heart. The bad news is it doesn't know how to function properly. But I will learn more about what that actually means on Wednesday.
Oh, so you're going to finally go to the therapy we've all been recommending you go to?
No, my heart.
Yes.
The actual one,
Yes.
the one that pumps blood, not the one that
Oh,
feels
oh,
feeling.
oh. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Very. There was a moment of excitement.
Yeah, yeah. Just don't get your hopes up on the other one.
Gotcha.
Um, though a certain bird keeps begging me to go to therapy. So,
Mm. Is it a mockingbird?
um, yeah, actually, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Oh man.
She repeats herself a lot.
Oh.
Um,
Anyway, EKG. They're
yeah,
stress testing you.
yeah. So, like it was like a strong heartbeat and then a weak one and then a strong one and then a weak one. Um, and got on the treadmill and my heart rate was at a resting heart rate was at 127
Hmm.
beats per minute, and then I only had to get it up to 160, so I was done with that in less than 7 minutes. But I was huffing and puffing like I had run a mile, and I wasn't even going my Disney walking speed.
That's probably not good.
Yeah, it's definitely not good. Um, so she while I was trying to get back to the quote unquote resting heart rate of 127, um, the lady that was running the test said when the heart is pumping so fast, it doesn't have time to uh, completely distribute the oxygen supply to the rest of the body and all this other stuff.
Right.
Uh, and it was beating irregular and just so. But yeah, so I go on Tuesday. I have a um, virtual meeting with a sleep doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, proposedly to set up a sleep study. Um, then on Wednesday I go back to the cardiologist to find out what the test results were. And then on Friday I go back to my regular doctor to give him an update and to find out any information on my blood work.
Hmm.
So yeah, I have another exciting week ahead of me. On top of trying to find a house during all of this.
That is. That's a lot. Hmm. Still not going to interfere with the duck hunting, I'm assuming.
No,
Okay. I mean, just as long as priorities are in order. I mean,
absolutely.
I'm a great fan of the outdoors. Um. So now that I'm thinking about it, and like the whole rest of my week is coming into focus, I don't know if that's a sign of me getting tired or me actually waking up. One of those two. I took a nap today. Great. After like way later than I should have. um. So you were talking about your stress test, and I was reminded I have fainted one time in my life. This week I almost got my second one.
I've never fainted, but I almost fainted um, at work a couple of weeks ago,
Hmm.
right after I'd started my blood pressure medicine.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what mine was. Probably sleep deprivation or something like that, because I don't sleep enough, and especially not this week. I don't know what's wrong with me this week, but I just didn't sleep enough. Anyway, Superman Ultra Point. Thursday, I go in the office and I'm walking around getting everything set up, and I go like, you know what, I'm feeling really tired. I should make a cup of coffee. So I went and make myself a cup of coffee. I made myself a cup of coffee. Was walking out of the kitchen, and like everything below my eyes stopped working. And like my knees started to buckle, and like I'm trying to like my arms seized up, and I'm like stumbling towards this row of file cabinets. I'm like, well, we're all going down today. And fortunately, I spilled coffee on my hand in this process and burnt myself. And that was enough of a shock to the system to bring me out of it just before I like crashed into this row of file cabinets surrounded by like 6 attorneys. It was wonderful. Oh.
Sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. Also today, I've mentioned before that I'm looking for a new job. I made perhaps a great first start at a new connection today.
Okay.
There's a ammunition company not too far from where I currently live.
They finally respond to your email?
Um, I've been hounding them a little bit on Twitter, and today they posted up something like they apparently have a full gym inside their manufacturing plant. And I'm like, well, that's actually really cool. I would love to have access to a full gym just for working at a place. And I'm like, hey, you guys, as your establishment seems to be getting better and better all the time, what are the chances I could swing an interview? And they actually responded. They acknowledged my existence. And they're like, hey, we are not hiring at the time, but send us your resume. And when we are, now, I mean, like that's still a hard no.
Yeah.
But like that is the most encouraging thing that has come from that yet. So I'm taking it as a major plus that they're like, yes, you are a human being who lives, and we are aware that you live, that you are alive. So, hey,
Those are your only qualifications.
I mean, those are also my only qualifications for finding the next future Mrs. Sasquatch. So,
Yep.
that's not entirely true, but that's close enough.
Eh,
We'll start with the small things and work our way up. Do you acknowledge my existence? Yes, no. We can build up the flowchart from there. So I sent him my resume, and who knows? I still have a month left at my present employer. That'd be kind of cool. I would love to work there. Plus, they are a company that sends ammunition exclusively through the mail, and I've just spent the last 4 years working in the mailroom. I think I'm qualified for this position.
I'm qualified for that position.
Move to Michigan, compete with me.
Compete with.
Mm-hmm.
There is no competition, Gavi.
I'm just that
far
good.
superior.
That sounds like a very subjective opinion.
Yes, let's see how many people we could get to subject to it.
All right, Sass, you're first. Please describe. Is it family or half family that you like better? One of us you're absolutely stuck with.
Give us a thumbs up if you vote for Gavi, a thumbs down if you vote for me.
I mean, there's ways you could do both of those. I don't feel like
It would
that's
require multiple accounts.
I want a detailed description of why you prefer the one you prefer over the other.
Yeah, I'm not going to require that of you, so
Use your words.
vote for me.
I am trying to bring out your best self, so I'm just saying. This sounds like the kind of conversations that I have with my mother when we discuss the ice cream scoop that I'm definitely getting when she dies, that my sister's not allowed to have. That my sister absolutely wants and also has the exact opposite conversation with my mother about. We have an active family feud over an ice cream scoop that nobody's getting for at least 20 years. Probably a lot longer. I hope a lot longer. But like the shots are being fired now. We're like I am getting this ice cream scoop. I don't know why it's such a big deal, but it definitely is. My sister didn't even want it until I brought up the point like, hey, I want the ice cream scoop. So I think I have some extra leverage there. At least I ought to. Oh dear. Oh my. And you have problems with my jungle talk. I mean, in fairness, a lot of people would probably have problems with my jungle talk.
Mm-hmm.
But still, how dare you? Oh, let's see. We got anything else, Masters?
I didn't have anything to begin with.
We made an hour and 45 minutes with nothing to begin with.
Yeah, you talk a lot.
I know. I feel like there was something else too. I need to find out what it was. Oh, I do know what it was. I bought rollerblades on Monday. Because
what?
Yeah. So in reference to the question that Pixel asked for the Sunday game about moving it to Monday or Tuesday, well, number one, remember how I said was having some conflicts for our present Tuesday campaign, which apparently other things that came out in the midst of this podcast may be putting on hiatus. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Mumbles, just commit to it. Is my church every Tuesday goes to a roller rink because that's a normal thing that people do. COVID, we got nothing else. And apparently it's a thing that they were doing before, but I wasn't particularly aware of that. Now that I'm out in this area, it's not like I'm required to be there, but it's heavily encouraged kind of thing. And so I started adding up skate rentals, and I'm like, it makes more financial sense for me in the very near term to just buy a pair of rollerblades. So I bought rollerblades on Monday. And for point of reference, up until December, it had been about 20 years since I had rollerblades on, or any kind of skates for that matter, or been on any wheels that were not attached to a car. So this is going about as you'd expect, particularly well. I'm a very large man with very low dexterity, who apparently can't really even walk around his own office, as we can base that on by Thursday. It's a miracle I'm still alive, basically.
Word.
Yep. Great.
Well, at least the game is only every other Tuesday.
Yeah. And we haven't actually had it in like 3 weeks, so,
That's also true.
Mm-hmm. And from the sound of it, we may not have it again this week. I don't know. Humbles needs to be a lot more clear on that. Or just make up his mind. Pick one. Do it.
Oh, okie.
Yep, I think that's it. Anything else? Did that spark anything for you? Okay.
Nothing.
Alrighty. Well then, let's wrap this up here before. Well, now we're definitely gonna hit 2 hours because it's me, and I can't ever say goodbye in less than 10 minutes. Anyway.
That's true.
So with that being said, thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully, my 2 pastors, you are not included in that number.
Oh my goodness.
It would be super great if you weren't. Everyone else, though, super glad that you were all took time. Although not so super glad because, again, for consistency, you probably had better things to do with your day. Uh, we want to make sure that that is always reinforced. We do not encourage the wasting of time, effort, energy, or internet data plans to listen to this podcast. But we appreciate your being here anyway. If you did enjoy anything that you heard tonight, please feel free to leave a like down below. Leave comments. We love comments. I read all of them. All of them, except for like 3 of them, have been from Sass. We are rapidly coming up on a year's worth of podcast episodes, and that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, to help grow this podcast, please, most important thing that you could do is to share it on all manner of social media, Twitter, Facebook, any place that hasn't banned you yet. Actually, sharing this might get you banned. Maybe think about that again. We are always trying to increase our reach because the world isn't bad enough. We need to try and bring it down a little bit more. Right? Masters is not accepting that one. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you all for listening in. We'll talk to you next time. Goodbye.